Hi everyone. Today I will be presenting a project which is a complete session management system designed for Gavel Club. The main goal of this system is to digitize and streamline how sessions are planned, conducted and evaluated. Instead of handling everything manually like role assignment, speech tracking, attendance and evaluation, this platform brings everything into a structured centralized system. The application supports three types of users: admin, group leaders, and members. Each role has its own responsibilities and access, allowing the session to be managed efficiently from scheduling all the way to the final reporting. What makes this system different is that it doesn't just store data, it actively enforces the session flow. From setting up roles and speeches to tracking live session activities to validating reports before completion, everything follows a proper life cycle. In this demo, I will walk you through system step by step, starting from landing page, then moving into authentication and gradually exploring each feature in detail. Let's start with the project architecture. Here you can see the main architecture of the project. The project is built in the front end is built with React and TypeScript, so the interface is so interactive and type safe. The backend is built with Node.js and Express, which handles the API requests and the business logic. The data is stored in MongoDB using Mongoose models on the back end. What happened here is simple. The frontend sends API call to the backend and the backend responds with user data, session data and other records from the database. For authentication, the app uses JWS tokens, JWT, which stands for JavaScript Web Tokens, which is also known as JSON Web Tokens. After login, the token is stored in the browser and the app checks that token again through the backend when the page loads. What happens on the screen? Let me show you the landing page first. This is the entry point of the system. Here the user gets a quick idea of what this platform does before logging in. The page presents the project as a speaking session management system. It highlights the major features in a clean and readable way. It is basically the first impression of the application. So the purpose is to introduce the platform and guide the user towards login. Here we move into the login page. What you can see is a simple login form with registration number and password. The registration number is used as the main user identifier in this app. What happens here? What, hap- what happens here is this. The user enters the credentials and the frontend sends an API request to the backend login endpoint. The backend checks whether the user exists and then compares with the password using bcrypt. If the details are incorrect, the backend creates a JWT token and sends back along with the user information. The token is stored in the browser so the app can keep the user logged in. The form also includes validation and password visibility toggle, so the login stays simple and practical. Now, let me show you the password recovery flow. This page is meant for users who have forgotten their password and want to reset it using their registered email address. The user enters the email address. The user enters the email and the front end sends it to the backend. On the backend, the system checks whether the email exists and then generates a secure reset token, stores the hash version of the token, and resets on expiry time. After that, a reset link is sent via email. One important detail here is the current page still shows that feature is under development in the UI. So I would present this as a recovery flow that already wired in the backend and being exposed through the page structure. Reset the reset page then takes the token and sets the user to choose a new password. This is the admin page. Now let me explain the admin flow. In the current code, admin access is handled through roles. By default, admin account, a super admin account is pre-created in the database. After admin logs in, the backend sends the user role as part of the login response. The app redirects the user to the correct dashboard based on the role. If the role is admin, the user goes to the admin dashboard. The dashboard is where group management, user management, session monitoring, and reporting, etc., are handled.